Welcome to On Cooldown, the show where we read MMO champion headlines and pretend we dug up all this news. In today's episode we will talk about methods world first. Shocking, right? Followed up by a demon hunter that soloed the Mythic+11, making everyone feel uncomfortable. 8.1.5 has some news on heirlooms, cool Tyrant faces and more. And Paladin is getting some love. Hate? Whatever it is, it's there. Hello nerds and nerdettes. Isn't nerd gender neutral? How are you this week? Good, I hope. Have you PvP'd? Have you raided? Well, you should have, because these are the things that are still fun in WoW. And this is what we're going to do today, talk about what's fun. And this is why we won't mention Marcelian. Hey! If you haven't tuned in this week, the World First race concluded with Method being the winner. After they wiped over 340 times on Jaina, they finally got the kill. And I know some of you guys will go, wow, Method won again, big surprise. But hey, give credit where credit is due. It's always hard to determine where the advantage was. Method was competing really closely with Limit, which was the NA adversary to Method's EU. Limit had access earlier to resets and better gear, but Method had encounters patched after Limit reported the bugs. However, nitpicking can be messy, so overall, a first kill is a first kill. I personally watched the race on Twitch, and I have to say, seeing so many people tune in was amazing for me. PvE has never been as interesting to watch as PvP was, but it goes to show you how that can change when stakes are so high. Congrats to Method and congrats to everyone else that followed. World First is something, but World Second, World Third are still very impressive feats. Feats that 99% of the player base might never achieve. It's also reassuring to know that WoW has such a devoted community despite the current expansion's performance. And outside all the flaws it has, I can honestly say that this raid is probably, if not the best one so far when it comes to encounters, setting, atmosphere and much more. Good job Blizz, can't fault you for this one. Hope this continues in 8.2 and so on. Speaking of amazing feats, we have our boy Iway, doing another amazing thing in Season 2, and that is soloing a Mythic+11 Dazar'alor as Vengeance. And although we can argue that Vengeance has sustain, or that it took him over 5 hours I believe, or that Dazar'alor is on the easier side when it comes to mythics, there is no denying that this guy has the patience and devotion that keeps WoW alive. I like it when people do this kind of thing, doing something that for 99% of the player base sounds impossible. If we could have something amazing that only one spec can do, it would give WoW a much needed personality upgrade, not to mention shine a really nice spotlight on the respective spec. I remember back in WoD, when a Blood Decay soloed the world bosses at the time, and that seemed insane for me. Soloing the most recent expansion previous to the one you are playing is one thing, but soloing something current, not to mention difficult, is super cool. At the end of the day, WoW is, or at least should be, an RPG, where you nurture and develop a character to tackle the challenges presented to you by the game. And whenever you can do this solo, that's cool my friend. And congratulations to Iway, Jesus, for being a masochistic son of a gun. No really, I would probably punch 5 monitors and break 7 keyboards by the time I end the mythic dungeon run for over 5 hours. And speaking about me, Flame, I'm part of Marcelian&Online with my boy Marcelian, and we both love WoW and we love doing YouTube stuff. It combines passion and work for us, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I would trade it for moving out of my mom's apartment.
Hello darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
But if you like our content, like our video and consider subscribing. We post a lot of stuff ranging from PvE, PvP, mounts and whatever, so there might be something that you're interested in. And we are back to our regular schedule. Patch 8.1.5 keeps bringing new things for us to test and play with. To no one's surprise, cool Tyrant males have new face customizations. This normally wouldn't classify it as news, but you can never know what to expect from the devs of Battle for Azeroth. Nothing. That's the healthiest expectation. But we are still pleasantly surprised by some really cool, actually, face customizations. They do a really good job at portraying a more realistic view of humans.
But I still want skinny Kultirans, Blizzard. Why aren't you doing skinny Kultirans? No human mage will ever be this buff in an RPG. They don't have time to lift. Everyone knows that.
Speaking of things that look pretty in the future patch, Alliance finally gets a non-horse mount. Well, not finally, they've been getting sabers in 8.1, but hey, now they get orc wolves. Something Saurfang teaming with Anduin something. Although the model looks really cool, I personally disagree with the need to dilute the factions more than they already are. I like that horses are mainly Alliance, although they could make more mounts that aren't horses. But why does Alliance get wolves? From a lore perspective, it doesn't make sense. Wolves are tamed by orcs as companions and or mounts. I doubt Saurfang knows the secret of wolf taming to teach the Alliance, and why would he? Or is this talk just about cosmetics now? We sacrifice identity for the sake of cosmetics now? I really do want Alliance to get cooler mounts, cooler than horses. I mean, I think rams are super awesome when done right. Sabers are also really cool, and no matter how much I hated not having a cool saber as Horde, I like the idea that sabers were an Alliance thing. Darkshore of course changed that more with more universal panther / tiger mounts being added, but they weren't faction specific. This new wolf is. But hey, what do you guys think? I like to consider myself free of faction bias on this topic, but I always am against diluting identity. Seriously, it's not bad enough that we have Tauren and Zandalari paladins, but now this? Am I wrong? Tell me in the comment section below. More on the PTR, the price for heirloom upgrades will be taken down. Seriously, with the state of gold in BFA, who thought these prices would be a good idea? Considering the amount of upgrades you need to get for one item to 120, not to mention every item slot available with 4 armor types, you can easily bankrupt yourself, future self, and future unborn alts. No, the price reduction is very welcome, and one would ask, why not in 8.1? But why not sooner seems to be a trendy question for BFA, so I won't go there. Last week's hotfixes to traits have brought major changes to certain classes. I already covered these changes and how they affected elemental shamans, which I recommend you guys check out. For Red Paladins, Light's Decree however saw a 30% nerf and brought some people down. I read forum posts about some Red Paladins complaining that this nerf was not needed since Red Paladins are underperforming as is. Now this is a mistake that some people fall into it. And I would know cause I am playing Shaman, and remember Shamans in 8.0? No you don't. And part of the problem was, yeah, the design and tuning was shitty, but the community and especially Shaman players undersold the class by a large margin. This creates a negative community perception. And before you jump at my throat with comments like, "Oh, you are not a Paladin player, therefore you don't know shit." Let me remind you, I am part of the community you are feeding this negativity to. Light's Decree still seems to be the best single target trait when not stacked, and even with said nerf to a trait that, yes I admit, was something Reds needed, the performance of the spec still outshines more than 50% of other DPSs, warriors, shamans and such. Not to mention I play with a Red in my guild and the guy is a beast. I would 100% invite a Red to my group simply based off what I see. And negativity towards the spec would just hurt people playing that spec in the long run. Don't make the mistakes Shamans made in 8.0. We need more Paladin love out there. I'm already seeing as little of you guys as it is. Lastly, closing off, the Arena World Championship started boys and I'm super hyped. I suck at PvP for now, but I really enjoy watching people duking it out. I really started enjoying and appreciating arenas in esports once I started playing some myself. And I am all for promoting more awareness for WoW. Get your friends, grab a pizza and a beer and support our boys by tuning in. And Blizzard isn't even paying me to say this. In the coming weeks I will post more PvE content, class guides and such, while Marcelian is probably going to focus on PvP. And if you like our stuff, consider following us on social media, where we keep you up to date with everything that we do. I've been Flame, and I'll see you guys next time.